And I'm sorry I can't talk without crying. But it hit me hard. I was like, I don't do that. You know, I sing at church when I feel like singing. And I reached out to Josh and I sent him a text message. Hey, if you ever need somebody to sing at your church, I would love to come sing at your church. And he said, I would love that. And so sent me the date. We made it happen. And here I am. But my life, it's hard. It's about the grace of God that I'm here doing what I'm doing, the life that I have. I grew up in Aiken, South Carolina. It's in the low part of South Carolina. Had a single mom raising 3 kids and raising her mom who had Alzheimer's. And you know, we didn't have a lot. We were poor. There was times where I didn't have nothing to eat. You know, when you grow up in that kind of lifestyle and you see people at school, you know, you get bullied because your clothes don't look the same. You know, you got holes in your shoes. You know, you want the things that other people have. And growing up, I made decisions that you know, I'm not too proud of. You know, I wanted things. I wanted name brand shoes. I wanted the clothes. I wanted to have those things. And I did things. I dealt drugs at a young age. I was in a gang. I was a terrible person. I never did the drugs, but you know, I wanted things. I had to make money, you know. You know, my parents were alcoholics, and one night they got in a huge argument, and like they usually did on the weekends. And but this one was different. They, you know, started getting physical, and us kids in the house had to, you know, break them up, be the referees. And I'll never forget my grandpa, who I love so much. He bought me this die-cast car, and they threw it and broke it, and it just broke my heart. And I just told my parents, like, you guys can kill yourselves. I don't care anymore. Like, I can't do this anymore. And I went walking my neighborhood, and I was on my neighbor's front porch, and just thinking to myself, you know, this is it for me. Like, this is my life. Like, this is who I'm going to be forever. And the next day I go to school, and something kept telling me to call my grandpa. And now my grandpa and me were like, I didn't even see him as a grandpa, I saw him as my dad. I didn't have a dad in my life. My mom married my stepdad, but that's the only father figure I had. Really was my stepdad and my grandpa. And but something told me to call my grandpa. And I fought it because I was like, man, I can't call my grandpa. I can't leave my brother, my sister, my mom. I can't leave this, 15 years I've been down here in Aiken. I can't leave this behind. I got to start all over. And, but I gave into it. I went to the office. I called my grandparents and asked them, I told them what was going on. And they came and got me that day. And I never went back. And that was the best decision I ever made in my life. They took me in. Jackie and Pam and Haley back there, they can tell you, they didn't see me as a grandson, they saw me as a son. And they took me in, raised me in a godly home, taught me about Jesus. And my grandpa prayed every day, every morning I could hear him. You go in my grandparents' house, there's nothing but a wall of Jesus pictures, so you just knew it was a good place to be. And I got saved at 16, and then met my wife my senior year. And a few years, actually the year after we got married, my grandpa found out he had cancer. And like I said, my grandpa meant everything to me. I thought he was going to live forever. He's my superhero. Found out he had cancer, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much I still want my grandpa to see. We didn't have a kid, and we had been trying, and just wasn't happening. And found out my grandpa had cancer. I was like, oh my gosh, my world's ending. My grandpa's, I don't know how much more time I have with my grandpa. A couple months later, we found out we were pregnant with Whit, and then we found out we were having a little boy, and I knew I was going to name him after my grandpa. That's why, we named him Whit. And then the following year, my grandpa did pass away. But my grandpa was in medical-induced coma, and he he woke up. It's just telling you, it's crazy. I was in the kitchen, and the nurse called me and my grandma back to the room, and he wanted to sit up. Now he's not supposed to be awake. He's supposed to be dying. And he sat up. I helped him sit up, and he came to the edge of the bed, and he wanted to talk to me, and he told me, he said, told me how proud he was of me. Then he told me that I need to get my family to church.
Amen.
I need to read my Bible. And then he told me that God came to him and said that we were having another kid, another little boy. And that's the last thing my grandpa had said to me. The next morning he passed away. That's the last words he ever spoke. And then 3 months later we found out we were having a little boy. And I told Haley that I was going to listen to him. We started going to church. And we, I was the type of guy that I didn't think church was needed. I was like, you don't need church. Church doesn't make you a Christian. But man, was I wrong. I needed church.
Man.
I needed to be in the house of the Lord. And so, we weren't, at first we were kind of, in and out of church. And then we started going pretty heavy every Sunday. And man, they asked me to sing at church one Sunday. Somebody told my preacher that I could sing, and I was like, I can't sing. I can't do this. And I got up and sang at church, and then, from then on, I've just grew in our church and trying to grow as a father, a husband, and a believer. And like I said, this leads me to the day where I'm at right now. I can look back on my life and say, man, I would, if you would ask me when I was 15 years old, that I'd be sitting here in front of you guys singing, giving my testimony, and where I'm at in my life, I would be like, you're stupid. I knew I was probably going to be in jail or dead. But thank you, God, for leading me away from that. And, and here I am. So I give all glory to God.
Amen.
So I'm going to start singing.